and welcome to another movie reviews video. I post video reviews of the films that I've seen in cinemas each week, every Sunday. I also do some book versus movie videos on my channel during the week. So I will leave a playlist of my movie reviews up here, and at some point leave my book versus movie videos playlist linked up here during the video as well. I saw 3 movies in the theatres this week, and I will leave timestamps in the description box below, so if there is a particular movie you want to hear my thoughts on, you can scroll to that time and skip the rest. The first film I saw this week was Into the Spider-Verse, which I didn't think originally that I was going to go and see, even though I did enjoy the Spider-Man parts of the Marvel 20 movies that I watched last year. But then it won the Golden Globe for the best animated film, so I was like, let's go and have a look at this. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really entertaining. I know the animation style is quite different from other animated movies out there, but yeah, it kind of feels almost like it's 3D, but you're not wearing your glasses just at the peripheral of the screen. I'm not sure the technicalities behind it. It's just a different animation style. But I thought it was quite interesting, and it's unlike anything I've seen before. I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the voice acting, and yeah, the animation was just really different and quite refreshing. I was entertained the whole way through. I wasn't bored, I didn't find myself wandering, and I just really enjoyed it. It's a good Spider-Man story. It's got a good message of kind of being yourself no matter who that is, and embracing that and kind of loving the skin you're in. I liked Miles as a sort of main character, although Peter Parker is also a main character, and I am now actively looking for the Miles Morales graphic novel Spider-Man as well, because I've seen a few people reading that one, and I'm like, oh yeah, interested in that. I mean, there's nothing more to say really about the fact that I just really liked it. The 3 films I've seen this week are really quite different from each other. It was me and like a dad with his 2 or 3, I couldn't work out, kids, and then a couple in the audience. So I was like, oh, okay, there's a different kind of audience. Then we went to see one of the nominations for Best Documentary. The Oscar nominations, of course, came out this week. I will be making a video with my thoughts on that soon. We went to see Free Solo, which has been out for a little while and it's been kind of flying under my radar. And then I saw it on the list of nominated documentaries. I love a documentary. Went to see this. This is about a guy who free solos. He climbs without ropes, without other people, and is known for climbing all of these massive faces and these massive names in rocks and mountains and what have you. And it's his journey to try and climb this big face in Yosemite called, is it called El Capitan? They always call it El Cap in the film. And his kind of journey to do that, his documentary team who are making the film, it's very much, you see the making of the film as it's going along, which is really interesting. And his sort of personal life and his history and his friends and stuff like that. And it was really, really interesting. The shots of Yosemite and the other places that he travels to climb, Free Solo, are just absolutely stunning. This could just be a nature documentary. They are glorious. I can see why this was released in like IMAX and Dolby format in some films, because in some cinemas even, because it would have been beautiful. If it comes up again in one of those formats, I would consider going to see it again, because I was like, I have to go and visit Yosemite now. I just absolutely have to. It looks beautiful. The tension in the film is crazy. And when he was doing some of his climbs, some of the shots that they were showing, my palms were physically sweating. I was so like tense and anxious and worried for him and about him. And that's all I'm going to say on that. It was a really good film. I really recommend it. If you love a documentary or if you like climbing, definitely this will be for you. But if, like me, you're not into climbing at all, still love a documentary, it's a really good one, and I can see why it's been nominated. And then the third film I went to see was Stan and Ollie, which is a kind of biopic of Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. What I didn't realise going into it was that it is a film about them kind of after their fame. So they kind of retired, but then went back on a tour and considered doing another film. And Ollie's health had got a little bit worse, and they were kind of on to their second or third marriages. So it wasn't in their heyday, it's after the fact. I was a little bit disappointed. I had higher expectations in this film. It's quite clear that the film didn't have the biggest budget. It doesn't look low budget, but you can see that places aren't really where they say they are. And I looked up the locations for various things, and it was all shot in the UK and in England. In fact, I believe it's all set in England, even though we see some parts that are in America, some parts in Scotland, some parts in Ireland. And so it was all shot in England, and they say that some places are, so for example, I looked up, and one of the Glasgow theatres that they were supposedly touring at is actually a theatre in London somewhere. And the interiors and the exteriors, they were obviously allowed to use the exterior of some of the more prominent buildings that they're seen in, but not the interiors, and so they don't quite match what you would expect them to be, and some of their travelling looks a little bit off. Then there's Steve Coogan's accent. So obviously Stan Laurel is born in Cumbria, I believe, in England, but spent most of his career in America. So he's going to have some sort of different accent. But sometimes Steve Coogan was doing an American accent, and sometimes he just had his kind of normal accent. And it almost felt like he was doing that thing of just converging with anyone that he was talking to. So if he was speaking to John C. Reilly, he was talking in an American accent or with an American twang. But if he was speaking to somebody English, he was speaking in an English accent, or just or speaking to somebody non-American, not even just English. And yet there are other British people in the film who have American accents and keep their American accents. So it was slightly disappointing in that I could sort of see holes in it in some cases. The period of time that they cover, I knew nothing about. I don't know an awful lot about Laurel and Hardy. I've been to the museum in Ulverston. It wasn't very good. But yeah, I've not seen many of their films. I've seen clips of things, and I'm aware of who they are, and I'm aware that Stan worked with Charlie Chaplin and stuff like that. But it was interesting and a little bit of an education, but I think it could have been just a little bit better done. And it's having a very, very, very short release here in the US. There's one indie cinema by me that's showing it. My AMC that I go to, it was only showing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it's only opened this week at the Regal, but it's only one of the Regals and there's very few showings, so I guess it's meant more for a British audience. But I was glad I got to go and see it because I saw a trailer for it when I was back in the UK seeing Mary Poppins, and so being able to actually see it was good, but it was a bit of a disappointment. But it's not one that I'd say don't go and see. Go and see for yourself, or else wait and either stream it or get the DVD from your library or your Redbox. Yeah, so that was my thoughts on the three films. As I say, I will hopefully be making, like I did last year, a video about my thoughts on the Oscar nominations and the Oscar nominated films. let me know in the comments what detail you would like me to go into. Last year I just talked about the best picture category. This year I'm definitely going to talk about some of the acting categories, but if you'd like me to go into further detail about what I have seen and haven't seen, what I'm going to be trying to see before the Oscars, then let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. As always, if there's something you want me to go and see in the cinema and share my thoughts with on here, I am always willing to do that. Just leave me a comment or message me on social media. They are always linked below. Subscribe so that my next video lands in your subscription feed. I will be back with a, I believe, book versus movie video tomorrow for you. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching.